Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this page first. So we're looking at area of parallelograms. So I can calculate the area of a parallelogram. This is review from 5th grade. So a parallelogram is a four-sided shape, four-sided figure with parallel sides. So our formula, if we look in our formula charts, is A equals BH, where A represents the area, B represents the base, and H represents the height. Remember that the base and the height are always perpendicular, meaning they create that right angle. I was going to make that kind of like T shape. So we have our base is going to be this flat bottom one right here. And then the height is going to be exactly perpendicular to that, exactly straight up. So not one of these slanted ones, right? We talked about how when we go to the doctor, we don't stand slanted to measure our height. We stand straight up. From the very bottom straight up to the very top is what we're measuring for our height. So this is going to be H, our height. So you can do it like that. Sometimes I like to measure it like this, make the actual letter H with the height to remind us that it goes straight, not slanted, right? The height is straight. So then we have our base and exactly perpendicular to that, our height, base and height. And we have our base and then exactly straight perpendicular to that is our height. Okay, so using the formula. We're going to write our formula A equals BH. Substitute the known value. So let's identify our base. Here's our base. The straight one right here, making that perpendicular, that right angle, is our height. So we're going to have A equals, instead of B, we're going to write the number 6. Base times height, right? When we have two variables next to each other, that's multiplication. So times our height is 5. So our area, 6 times 5, is 30. So we can try it for some other ones. A equals BH. Our area, our base is 4. Our height is perpendicular to that here. Okay. So A equals 4 times, and then our height is 5.5. So we're going to multiply those two. Let's work that out. 5.5 times 4. Remember, you don't got to line up decimals when you're multiplying. So we have 5 times 4 is 20. 0, carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20 plus the 2 is 22. Scoop your decimal in, It's 22. So our area is equal to 22.0, which is just 22. And then we have our unit, centimeters squared. Unit up here too. Okay. So then we have our base and our height. This one's kind of rotated on its side, so we can turn our paper if we want to rotate it on its side, or we can just like keep it like that. So this flat one, we're going to make the base, and then this one perpendicular to it is our height. Actually, let me color code that again. Base, and then this perpendicular one is our height. A little neater. There we go. Height. So A equals base times height, where our base is 7 in this case, times our height is 2. So 7 times 2 is 14 centimeters squared. You can go ahead and practice the other one. So we're going to pause here and not practice the back yet. Let's go ahead and look at the other side that we have, which is triangles. So I can calculate the area of a triangle. So what is this? This is a 3-sided figure. So A equals 1/2 BH. So that's the difference between rectangles, parallelograms, and triangles, right? Rectangles and parallelograms is just base times height, but here I have the half. We talked about finding the half means that you cut something in half, which a shortcut to that is dividing it by 2. If you're splitting something up, you're dividing. So A represents the exact same thing, area. B still represents base, and H still represents the height of the triangle. And the base and the height are still perpendicular, making that perfect 90-degree angle, that right angle, that T. So we're going to go ahead and label the base and the height. So here, this big flat part, we're going to label the base, and then we'll make the height this straight perpendicular. Again, not this slanted one. That's incorrect, because when we measure our height, we don't stand slanted, we stand straight. So this will also be straight, our height. And then we have our base here. Our base is only this long. It's not the whole thing. This is just to show that I'm going straight up and down. Here is going to be our base. Okay. Here's our base, exactly perpendicular to that, making that right angle is our height. Our base, so we don't have a perpendicular angle going straight this way. If I did, I could make this my base. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper, or your head. We're just going to rotate this. Think of it like this. Okay. Whoop. There we go. Oh, there you go. Okay. So we have our base, which means that this is our base here. And then our height, which is exactly perpendicular, here. This is our height. Okay. Let's do 2 together. So A equals 1/2 BH. So A equals 1/2. Our base is going to be here, 5. Our height's going to be this one, 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do 5 times 4. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can find half in the beginning. If you think it's easy to find half of 5, you can do that. If you think it's easy to find half of 4, you can do that. But you got to make sure that you do with all 3 parts. So let's go ahead and do this one first. So we're going to do 5 times 4 is 20. So I know that this is 20, but I need to find the half of that. Half of 20 means 20 divided by 2, which would be 10. So our area is 10. And then centimeters squared. Then looking at this one, A equals 1/2 BH. So here's our base, exactly perpendicular. The straight one is our height, 4. So we have A equals 1/2. And then our base is 6 times our height, 4. So you can do 6 times 4 first if you want, get 24 and then find half of that. You could also find half of one of these initial numbers first. We can find half of 6, that's 3. But then you still got to multiply that with 4. 3 times 4 is 12. No matter which order you do it, you should get the same thing, right? 6 times 4 is 24. Half of 24 is 12. You could find half of the 4 in the beginning. Half of 4 is 2, and then still timesing by the 6, that's 12. So no matter which way you find the half, as long as you do all 3 parts, you should still get the same answer. We'll do one more. And then we have A equals 1/2 BH. So here's my base. Let's do that blue base. Height is this straight right here, so that's 5. So A equals 1/2 times 7 times 5. So I can't find half of 7 easily. I can't find half of 5 easily. So let's go ahead and multiply those first. So 7 times 5 is 35. And then to find the half of that, we got to divide by 2. So let's set it up. 35 divided by 2. 2 can go into 3 one time. Minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down your next number, 5. 2 can go into 5 7 times, and it goes up to 14. If I count by 2, the closest I can get to 15 without going over is 14. So that's why I'm subtracting 14. Now is 7 times. I have a remainder of 1. Now I don't have another number to bring down, so we're going to go ahead and put a decimal and add a 0 and bring that down. So 2 can go into 10 5 times, and that's exactly 10. So that's 0, that's done. So my area is 17.5. Then you can go ahead and keep going. Make sure you put your name on this before you turn it in so I can give you class dojo points. This one's worth a lot of points because it's 2 different topics. So if there's one that you want to practice first, if you want to practice more triangles first, that's great. That's 6th grade and 7th grade. But if you want to do this one, that's fine. But this is like 5th grade. So it'll be really fast to do that one. If you want to start off with this one, I will say the triangles are worth more points because those do have the extra step of the half. So if you want to do the triangles first, because that's worth more points, or if you want to do the parallelograms first, because that's faster, it's up to you.